Hello, and welcome to Sequoia's Facebook Live. This series focuses on nutrition education programming. We love sharing great tips and resources with seniors in the community so that you and your loved ones can live healthy. We promote healthy food choices, improve health behaviors, and help you manage nutrition related chronic diseases. Today, I'm going to talk about our farmers market checks, and my colleague Emily will help us share a great recipe to beat the summer heat. But before we do that, I wanted to talk a little bit about SACOA in case you're not familiar with our organization. So, we are Indiana's largest area agency on aging. We've been around for 50 years and we're a nonprofit. We operate within 8 counties in central Indiana, including Marion and the surrounding donut counties. Our mission is to empower older adults, those of any age with a disability, and their caregivers by providing the innovative answers, services, and support they need to achieve the greatest possible independence, dignity, and quality of life. So, I want to share a few statistics about aging and why it's so important to have an organization like SACOA in our community. So, within our 8 county area around Indianapolis, the number of older adults is expected to double by 2035, which means seniors are going to start to outnumber school age children. So, people within that group, people 85 and older, are the largest growing segment of the elderly population. So, all these people are going to need a lot of support, and that's where SACOA comes in. SACOA has services, resources, and programs that offer wraparound support to aging seniors, people of any age with a disability, and family caregivers. One of these services is our department, Meals and More. So, Meals and More offers services like home delivered meals, meal vouchers at restaurants, commodity supplemental food program boxes, farmers market checks, which we're talking about today, as well as nutrition education programs and neighborhood meal sites within the community. So, thanks for joining us today. My name is Grant, and I'm going to talk today about a great program that can help seniors eat healthy during the summer: farmers market checks. These checks are designed to help low income seniors eat more fruits and vegetables and to buy locally. They're available for seniors aged 60 and over whose income is within the 185th percentile of federal poverty levels. So, for instance, if you live alone, you would be eligible if your gross monthly income was at or below $2,096. So, if you qualify, you'll receive four $10 checks that add up to a total of $40. You can use these checks anytime after you receive them from August 1 to October 15th. The list of participating farmers markets for the program can be found on our website, secoa.org, or on our farmers market flyers here on the back. When you spot a farmer's market or stand with this red tomato sign that shows that they take the checks, there are a couple of things you need to remember before you buy. So make sure you've signed your checks because the checks can't be accepted if they aren't signed to show that they're for you. Similarly, be prepared to show ID, such as a driver's license or other state ID, so that the vendor knows that you're the person who was given the checks. And you should know that you will not be able to get money back with these checks. So the good thing is that you won't be charged sales tax for the checks, but also you have to use the entire value of a check at once. So for instance, if you were buying with one $10 check, you have to use the entire $10 value of that check. If you buy with two checks, three checks, you need to use the whole $20 or $30 at once. And you can't get any change, you can't get any cash back or refunds, and you can't use it to get credit at that store for later. You have to use it all in one go. So these checks are meant to be used for fresh fruits, vegetables, and cut herbs. That means if you go to the market, some of the things that you could use them for would be like cherries, tomatoes, lettuce, pumpkins that you're planning on actually cooking with, or things like cut stems of basil with no roots. However, you can't use these checks to buy other things that may also be for sale. So that would be things like eggs, honey, processed foods, baked goods, juice or cider, dried fruits like raisins, plants that you can grow, so like basil in a pot, and no gourds you don't plan to eat. So unfortunately, you can't buy decorative mini pumpkins with these checks. So if you see a vegetable that you don't know what to do with, don't worry. Vendors want people to buy their products, and you can always ask them how they would cook it or find healthy recipes at chooseatmyplate.usda.gov. So now that you know what to do with these checks, how can you get them? Well, Socoa will be holding an event at our main office in Indianapolis, 8440 Woodfield Crossing Boulevard, Suite 175 on August 9th. The event will run from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and you can drop in or leave whenever you like within that time. We'll have booths for our farmers market program, as well as CSFP boxes, FreshBucks, and SNAP, and we'll be happy to help you or your family members sign up for any one of these programs. Or you can call Meals and More on the phone, and we'll be happy to mail you an application. So now, with that out of the way, I'd like to introduce you all to our new AmeriCorps Summer Vista associate, Emily Court.
Hi, everyone. Thanks,
She's
Grant.
going to use her nutrition experience to demonstrate an easy and delicious recipe that you can make with summer vegetables like corn and tomatoes, which are common at farmers markets, and you may also find canned in a CSFP box. Take it away.
Thanks. So hi, I'm Emily, and today we will be making a quick and nutritious little side, or it can be salsa, put on a salad, paired with meat or anything you'd like. So this is a black bean, corn, and tomato salad. You can use fresh, frozen, or canned versions of these vegetables. And remember, frozen and cans are just as nutritious because they are harvested at peak times. So you lock in those nutrients and minerals, and it's just as healthy as the fresh. So you can use anything you find at your local grocery store or farmer's market or in your commodity boxes. So for our recipe today, you will need the following ingredients. You will need 1 can of black beans, and you want to make sure they're rinsed and dried. And then you will need about 2/3 of a can of corn. So that's equivalent to 1/2 cup, which is equivalent to 1 medium ear of corn if you want to go the fresh route, or about 1 10-ounce bag of frozen corn. And then you want to use either 2 tomatoes, or you can use 1 can of diced tomatoes that you also want to drain and rinse. And then you will need 2 tablespoons of oil. We chose vegetable oil today. And then 1 tablespoon of lime juice. We chose this type of lime juice, but you can also get some pressed limes, or you can even use lemon. So first, I have everything prepped. I've washed my hands. We're going to go ahead and add our beans. So we'll add this. And black beans are very high in protein. Protein is the building blocks for our hair, skin, and nails, so it'll help keep those strong. So we got those in there, and then we're going to add the 1/2 cup of corn. So we can go ahead and pour this in, and corn is in season right now, so it's super tasty. It's also high in fiber, so it'll help with our digestive system. We can then go ahead and add our tomatoes. So tomatoes are going to be high in vitamin C, which vitamin C helps keep our immune system in tip-top shape and prevents us from getting sick. Tomatoes, they get their red color from an antioxidant called lycopene, and lycopene helps keep our heart healthy. And it's also good to keep in mind when selecting canned vegetables to look for no salt added or low sodium. If you can't find those versions, when you're rinsing them, you can do that and it will remove up to 40% of salt. So now what we're gonna do next is I'm gonna pass it over to Grant to dice our onions. Onions have an antioxidant that can help keep our heart strong and help our brain function.
All right, so I love alliums because they just have so much flavor, and they're a great way to make sure that a dish tastes really satisfying without adding a ton of salt. So I'm just going to demonstrate my favorite way to cut an onion. So we're going to start by cutting off the pointy bit, which is the top. we're not going to cut off the root because while we're chopping the onion, the root will help hold the layers together and make it less likely to slide around. So we're going to cut off the top here. Now, when it's resting on the base, it's nice and stable, and we're just going to cut it in half from the tip down to the root. Now, we'll only need a 1/4 cup of onion for this recipe, so I'm just going to be using this half. We're going to peel off a couple of these tough outer layers. This can take a little bit of doing.
It's a gorgeous onion. Look at this cut. So it's nice and fresh.
Now, with the onion cut in half, we're going to take the onion, balance it still on its stem, and we're going to make a couple of horizontal cuts across the width of the onion. So cutting from the top to the bottom of the onion. And you'll see when I'm doing this that I'm not cutting into my hands. I'm never cutting in the direction of my fingers, because if you did that, say I'm cutting this way and my hand slips, that's my finger off. So you always want to make sure you're cutting away from your fingers, and that while you're gripping the onion, you have a bit of a claw grip so that your fingers aren't in the way. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut slices into the onion itself vertically, but watch how I'm doing this, okay? So I'm cutting slices that come out from the center. So they're top down here, but the further out I go, I'm going to be angling them in. Think of it like you're cutting the onion in wedges, and you want to make sure you're getting nice, even arcs, because an onion is round. So if you cut top down, and see when I get further into the onion, I'm going to turn it again so I'm not cutting towards my fingers. But see it like this, I'm getting much more even cuts than I would if I were just going bam, 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 and getting giant flat bits on the ends. So now with that accomplished, we're going to start cutting across the onion. And when I do this, my knife is going to stay in the same place on the board while I move the hand with the onion towards it, so that you always know. And once you get to the end of the onion, when it's a little bit more difficult to cut this way, you can flip it over. Goodness. This is a live stream, folks. We're doing this live. Can't edit that out. But you see, I'm still getting a lot of that great onion out, but I'm not unbalancing the onion, and I'm not putting my own hand at risk. So now I'm just going to make some little cuts along the base of the onion that I can now cut safely, because we have so much less onion that I can just go right in. And there we have it. That's our onion, folks.
Thank you, Grant. He didn't shed any tears either doing that for us. So we will need 1/4 cup of red onion. So we can go ahead and scoop some in.
Remember, folks, we've washed our hands because this is a cooking demo. You're going to want to make sure that you have clean hands if you're handling produce.
And make sure you rinse and wash your produce as well. So we have our onion in there, and I'm going to give it a good stir before I add my oil and lime juice. So here we go, and now let's go ahead and add our oil. All right, so we are choosing some oil today, and since it's not hydrogenated, it's going to be heart healthy. It's also cholesterol free. So we are going to do 2 tablespoons. So there's 1, there's 2, and then we are going to do 1 tablespoon of our lime juice. And just like the tomato, the lime juice is also high in vitamin C. So there we go. And remember, fruits and vegetables are naturally low in calories and sodium, so these are extra nutritious. And like I said, you can pair this with some pasta, some chips, get some carbohydrates in there, which provide us with energy. You can add it over chicken and get some more protein. So there we have it. You can also store it in your fridge for about 30 minutes. That'll get out some of that pungent onion taste, and it'll just get it nice and cold, especially on a hot summer day for you.
Great, that looks amazing, Emily. Thank you so much for that recipe. So thank you also to you all for joining us today. So I hope you found the information helpful, and we look forward to seeing you again on August 9th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at our fun kickoff event located in Socoa's main office. You'll have the opportunity to learn about and sign up for other food and nutrition programs, as well as our Farmers Market program. So if you have any questions about our Farmers Market checks that we haven't answered, feel free to put them in the comments, or you can receive an application by calling Meals and More at 317-803-6042. And this recording will be available on Socoa's Facebook page later in the day, so please share it with your friends who might be interested in the program. Thanks for watching.